episode of Success University with your host, Krystal, also known as the most famous woman in the world. Okay, so today I want to talk about working hard versus working smarter. Is there a right way? Is there a better way? And so I just want to give some perspective on the types of lifestyles that I have seen my very successful friends and colleagues lead. And I want to kind of demystify what it means to work hard, because I now truly believe that at this point, working hard definitely means different things to different people. So my entire life, I have definitely been on the work hard side of the fence. I really was into hustle culture and, here's just an example. There was one point where I took one day off in 3 years. And by no days off, I mean no days off. I didn't have days off. My minimum day during that 3-year span was about 10 hours. And that was when I was running my dispensary, Weed Dash, in California, in Santa Monica. I was just going. And my reasoning behind that really was, well, you know what, there's a lot of reasons behind that, but one of them was, you got to work hard. That's what everybody always says, right from the beginning. You got to work hard. You got to work hard. If you want anything, you got to work hard. And yes, I made that business moderately successful. But after that, I really had to take a look at the wisdom of that, because basically I just ended up getting so burnt out that I started making not the best decisions. I started making not the most wise business decisions, financial decisions. I pretty much had no personal life, but the few times that I did attend to my personal life, I was making bad decisions there as well from burnout. And I know that there's been tons of articles written about burnout, so I'm sure I don't need to go into all of the scientific facts about what burnout is and all that stuff and why it's, why it's bad for you and everything. But let me tell you, I experienced burnout like I've never experienced it before. And the strangest part about burnout is that for me, it's not like I saw it coming, right? Like I was going so hard that I honestly just didn't even really notice. It was just second nature. I finally had a business of my own that was successful, and I wanted it to be more successful. And I was just going until it was like a wall that came out of nowhere. Kind of like imagine, going down a stream on a canoe, and you're going. And the next thing you know, boom, waterfall. I really did not see I didn't see how the burnout was affecting my decision making. I did not realize until way after the fact that if I would have simply worked 5 days a week, if I would have even just shut the store down 1 day a week, it was open 7 days a week. Because in my mind at that time, it had to be open 7 days a week because everybody else's stores were open 7 days a week. It didn't need to be open 7 days a week. I could have easily closed on Sunday. And of course, this is years later now. I'm looking back like, why didn't I just close the store on Sundays so I could have at least one day to myself. Silly. I mean, I could have easily closed on Sundays. Honestly, I could have even closed on Sundays and Mondays, really. But why didn't I, close on Sundays, have it closed, and then Monday have an assistant work the slowest day of the week? I could have totally done that. So for me, the working harder train of thought is unwise. And a few of my colleagues that I'm thinking of right now who I admire and who are making, let's say, somewhere to the tune of $300,000 to $500,000 a year, those individuals take vacations. And the vacations, are relaxing ones. They actually shut off their phones completely, their work phones completely. They hand their, if anybody needs to get a hold of them, they will have one point of contact. They'll have their assistant take over, and the only way to get to them is if there is a severe emergency, and to get to them, you need to go through their assistant. So they're not constantly checking their email on vacation and, micromanaging and stressing and all that. Those individuals I'm thinking of as well, who definitely have a lifestyle that I would admire. I'm thinking of a handful of them, and I would say the majority have, work cutoff times, right? Like they have their hours that are personal time, where they will either turn off their phone or put it on do not disturb, and you can't get a hold of them for work reasons. And those are individuals who, a few of them are professionals working in professional capacities, and a couple of them are business owners. And I remember the first time I started socializing with people who were making a higher level of income. And I remember one of the first things that struck me was, oh my God, these people take vacations. Oh my God, these people go to dinner with their friends on the weekend. They go to dinner with their family at night. They, have a personal life. They have time. And those same people are the types of people that will tell younger adults on their way, or not younger adults, but just people on their success journey. Those are the same people that will preach, you got to work hard. You got to work hard. You got to work hard. Their idea of working hard might be a little bit different than what you're thinking. I believe that the best way to go about it is to do both, right? I mean, you don't want to just be lackadaisical and just hope and pray that things happen. But first and foremost, always work smarter, always work smarter, always work smarter. In caveman times, or whenever it was that human beings invented levers and pulleys and leverage to pick up objects and move them, the work harder train of thought would be, oh, you have this giant, rock or boulder or whatever that you have to move. You got to work hard. You got to just pick it up just pick it up like that. Just get 5-6 guys and pick it up and drag it or something, right? Well, along came the engineers who went, well, you could just make a pulley system, working smarter, right? So, of course, it's better to work smarter. in every single tiny thing you do, you should work smarter, with the number one smartest thing to do being figuring out what your successful life looks like in a very detailed manner, so that your North Star is guided toward exactly where you particularly want to go. For me, I definitely over the years have started to reevaluate what I believe my successful life would look like. I always imagined just working hard literally until I'm 90. But as time is going on, I'm like looking at that and thinking, wow, do I really want to work 80, 100-hour weeks every single week for the rest of my life like Elon Musk says we should? Like, do I really want to do that? I know what that's like now, and I am not sure that's what I actually want. I don't know if that's what I would actually want, like in my 40s and 50s and beyond. So this is to say that also that there's no better way to work smarter than to simply do the things that smart people do. And it is a statistic that, and I got this from entrepreneur.com, but there's plenty of other better resources that cite these examples. Okay, here we go. Yeah, 65% of millionaires have 3 streams of income, 45% of millionaires have 4, and 29% have 5 or more streams of income. So that's to say that the number one thing we all have to realize is that in America, anywhere in America today, that to have everything in your life taken care of, and to be able to retire comfortably, vacation, well, put your kids through college, all that kind of stuff. The income level at the bare bones minimum, which is actually, I'm basically using the poverty level, what's considered poverty level in Newport Beach. And yes, okay, that's Newport Beach, but we're talking about poverty line. So in Newport Beach, there were plenty of programs that you could qualify for, and they considered the poverty line $70,000 a year. So I don't know what what your exact number is for your idea of success, but I'm just saying poverty in certain cities in America is $70,000 a year. And that's not to scare you, but that's to say you absolutely have to have passive sources of income. So we all know what those are, and they're boring. The passive streams of income are so necessary, but they're so boring. They're not sexy. They've been the same since forever. Getting rich slowly is kind of the best way to do it. And I know that's really boring, but you need to be thinking about, okay, you have your day job. Let's just say you have whatever you're doing in the day. Great. Okay. That's going to take up, let's say 40 hours a week. All right. Depending on what that is, right? I mean, if you're blessed enough to be an aerospace engineer or a, physician assistant or something like that, and that's bringing you in, $70,000, $100,000, $150,000 a year, then great. But I would say that, if you're young and healthy and you can have a side hustle, absolutely get one. Right now, I would say absolutely. In this economy, yeah, definitely. If you can drive Uber 2 days a week, 3 days a week, do it. If you can drive Uber 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, do it, right? I mean, even if you could do that 2 hours a day after work from, let's say, 5 to 7 or 6 to 8, So 2 times 5, that's 10 hours, right? If you're making, I don't really know how much Uber drivers make, but I'm assuming that just with those little couple of hours, you could easily make a couple hundred extra bucks a week. I could easily see someone pulling in an extra 1,000 a month without completely, sabotaging their family life and being completely and utterly, having no life and working 80 hours a week. An extra $1,000 a month, 1,000 times 12, that's $12,000 a year. You can put that in very boring investment vehicles. Put it in an index fund. Don't put it in crypto, even though I love crypto, and we can get into why I love crypto, but don't put it in crypto. Maybe put a little bit, put 2%, all right? Put 2% of that in crypto. That's fine. Put 2% in Bitcoin, put 2% in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, and pray. And if you lose the 2%, no big deal. You still have 98% of your income, right? Or your savings. $12,000 a year. You can invest if you have the cojones to not spend it. In a couple years, that's a down payment. In 4 years, you can get an apartment building. You could get a duplex just from driving Uber. And that passive income can last you for the rest of your life. So definitely, I would say work smarter. I think there's a timeline on working hard and working hard in the traditional sense of, busting ass like 80 hours, 100 hours a week. I think there is a time and place for that, specifically when you're in your 20s. I really think that is probably for me, it's kind of the only acceptable time to be going completely that hard 7 days a week for years on end and, not really worrying too much about your personal life. That would be seemingly pretty normal. Or, if you want to restart your life, you got a divorce and you want to start your business for the first time and you want to just restart your life completely. You know what? Do it. Work hard, right? Like do that work hard. I wouldn't say work hard, play hard, because I don't like that play hard type of idea, but there is a time and place for it. But I'm just saying, realize that burnout is real and you can actually end up worse off after burnout than when you began. All right. So I hope this is helpful. Go get your index funds and read up on how to buy a duplex. Maybe that will be my next podcast. Until next time, remember to demonstrate excellence and bravery.
The information provided in this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only and should not be construed as financial advice, investment advice, or medical advice. The host is not a financial advisor nor a medical doctor or licensed therapist. Any financial or medical decisions made based on the information in this podcast are made at the listener's own risk. It is recommended that listeners consult with licensed professionals such as CPAs, financial advisors, and licensed physicians before making any investment or medical decisions. The host and creators of this podcast accept no responsibility or liability for any loss or damages incurred as a result of the information provided in this podcast.